Cool. All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And as you can see in the title, Apostle Ahrayamlab called it, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And I'm going to explain what I'm talking about here in a second. But and I'm sure you brothers and sisters out here can also attest to it, which I know that it wasn't only the Apostle Ramlab, but he's the one that I remember I immediately thought about when this thought came to mind. Now the video you see on the screen was put up by the beloved brother Yashalam. His channel here, or his handler, is GMS Watchman. And as you can see, it says IUIC Bishop Nathaniel explain MOTB in 2023 and mocks Great Millstone. And within the video, I'm going to play, get into this last part of it. I'm sure, brothers have already done videos on it. But he goes into this, he attempts to break down Revelation 13 and 16 and 17, utilizing Revelation, I believe, the 17th chapter, dealing with the cup, the golden cup in the hand of Babylon, and then representing the hand, right? The mark in the hand being sin, and then the mark in the head being, as it says, abominations in Revelation 17. So then he tries to tie that in as once again being sin. But the overall gist that I got from this, listening to this, because at the end they show clips of different countries like Nigeria and India and even the US that are going to be using this CBDC as a means of basically, like, by force, transitioning everybody to the CBDC. So what I'm going to do is play this portion right here, let you listen to it, and then I'm going to explain why I titled the video what I did.
Africa was a test goal. Africa, India.
I know details before it actually comes.
So Africa was a test goal. To Africa, India, and they want to bring that here. So back in Revelation 13 and 17, because the question, how could they try to force the saints to sin? Through finances. Those that are weak and give up. Read verse 17 again.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark.
You had to be involved in this sin. If they see brothers teaching on the street, find them. Go into their bank account, take money out. Boop, boop, boop. That's what they do. Now you have no food. They try to bend us to make us do what they want. That's what the Bible's prophesying about. Go ahead.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark.
Except he, go ahead.
That had the mark.
That had the mark, which is sin, whether politically or religiously.
Or the name of the beast.
Still saying the same thing, sin in America. Go ahead.
Or the number of his name.
Read.
Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast.
Count the number of America. This white man here. Go ahead.
For it is the number of a man.
It's telling you the number of the white man. That's what it means, the number of a man. Go ahead.
And his number is 666.
So that number represents him, number of destruction. Everybody understand that? All right. From there.
So basically, when you listen to the whole thing, what he's saying is they're gonna try. The mark is sin, right? Revelation 13, the mark is sin, and verse 17 is how they're gonna try to enforce people to take the MOTB, because we keep on bringing up the 17th verse in Revelation 13 and asking the question: if the mark is sin, how do you buy and sell with sin? Because the scripture says those that don't have the mark will not be able to buy and sell, right? So now, or at least from this video, what is being said is that they're going to use finances, and more so, we know that is really, they're saying the CBDC, because the videos that they show are dealing with that. And so the CBDC, which is going to give these governments more fine-tuned control of people's finances, will be a way that they can enforce this policy of making people sin. So if you don't sin, then you know they're gonna be able to use the ability to lock your account or prohibit you from you know having funds or doing all those things as a means of enforcing that whatever for you to sin. Which the now coming back to the title, right? I'm sure we've all heard, as I recalled, um, I can't remember the exact video, but I know the apostle mentioned it in multiple of streams when he would when the spirit came upon him, and he said, "Watch how these guys, you know, as more information comes out on the MOTB, and it gets clearer and clearer. Watch how these guys start to spin their breakdown to try and basically weave it in and basically make it seem as though they've been teaching about the MOTB being the mark or part of it, you know, the whole entire time. So as the evidence becomes overwhelming that the charagma or the C-hip, you know, plays a role in this and is tied to the CBDC and all of these things, they'll try to weave that into what they've been teaching before, which is really contrary. But they'll try to weave it in to make it sound as though they've really been teaching it, all right, or have been mentioning it this whole time. And I remember that very, very vividly because the Apostle Ramlab said that numerous times in different videos on different occasions. So when I watched this video and I was listening to it, I'm like, huh. So now all of a sudden there's this nice confident energy and going into the 17th verse. But now you can hear it's starting to shift more towards the merging in of CBDCs or digital currencies or you know some form of finance. At first, we were just dealing with sin, right? But now, as more and more information is coming out, now it sounds like what's being incorporated into their breakdown is now you got the whole finances situation. So now, guess what? When the MOTB comes out, when the C-hip comes out and is linked to the CBDC, then you could just easily turn around and say, oh, well, we did say that they would use finances, and right now the main form of finances is that C-hip, you know. So really, it all plays in and ties in anyway. So they're gonna use the C-hip to enforce or make people commit sin. And if you don't sin, then they're gonna use the C-hip to prohibit you from doing anything or shut down your bank account, whatever the case is. And then voila, you could wrap it up nicely and say, hey, boom, here we go. So the mark is sin, but the way that they're gonna get you to sin is by making you take the C-hip, because then they're gonna say if you don't take the C-hip, or if you don't want to sin or be down with it, then we're gonna block you out. We're gonna take money. I'm gonna play it back. All right.
Revelation 13 and 17. Because the question, how could they try to force the saints to sin?
Right. So the mark, right, according to Bishop Nathaniel, is sin. At which using Revelation 17 is I mean that does not fit at all. Revelation 17 is dealing with Babylon, the whore. That is not really, that's not dealing with the MOTB. Okay, first off, Babylon is a part of the beast. Okay, we've addressed that, right? But when you read it, it says that Babylon is the whore that sitteth upon, you know, the scarlet colored beast and so on and so forth. But the mark of the beast is a mark issued by this beast, right? And that mark is supposed to go into the right hands or the foreheads of the people that is being issued upon. The beast is going to come and say, look, this is my mark. I'm pushing it upon the world. When you go to Revelation 17 and say that because it said in Babylon had a cup in her hand and she had X and Y and Z written on her forehead, then we equate that to the mark in the hand and forehead that is written in Revelation 13. That there's no correlation there. You can't tie that in. Okay, but they're trying to. Anyway, back to the point here. The point at hand here, you see how, so initially they're saying that the mark is sin. And then he said, well, let's go to the 17th verse, because the question, right, as you can see on the screen, the question is, how could they try to force the saints to sin? Right? That's Revelation 17. They gonna, if except no man can buy or sell save he that had the mark. So that 17th verse is dealing with how they're gonna enforce sin, right? Or get people to take this mark. So let's listen.
Through finances.
Through finances. So how are they gonna enforce people to entice people to sin or enforce Revelation 13 and 16, which according to them is sin? They're gonna use finances. So how are they gonna use the finances? What's an example?
Those that are weak and give up. Read verse 17 again.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark.
You had to be involved in this sin.
So you gotta be involved in sin in order to buy and sell. But now, if we really scrutinize that, that wouldn't really fit in the common sense era, right? Because then you would say, wait a minute, how do they know that you are sinning? Unless eventually it's going to be said that you have to commit a particular sin, because how are they going to know that you committing adultery, or that you ate some pork, and first off, if they're going to push, hold on a second, a thought just came to me. If they're going to push their mark upon the world, why would they tailor it? Because what is sin? Sin is the transgression of the law. The law is specific to the nation of Israel. So why would they tailor their mark that they're going to push upon the world to the law, the laws and the scriptures? Meaning that you gotta, because remember, sin, 1 John 3 and 4 is a transgression of the law. So sin is actually specific. Sin is not just a general thing. Sin is specific. Sin is breaking of the law. So you commit adultery. When you go into the Torah, it lists all these different laws and ordinances that we're supposed to keep, things we're supposed to do and things we're not supposed to do, right? So this beast is so interested in our laws that he's saying, I'm going to push this mark on everybody. My goal is to make everybody in the world break the laws of the God of the God of Israel, even though they really pertain just to that nation of Israel. So I care that you go and commit adultery, and I care that you go and eat pork. And if you don't eat pork, I'm not going to let you buy and sell anything. How are they going to know that you ate pork? Right? If they're going to use finances, how are they going to know that you ate pork? How are they going to say, okay, this person sinned yesterday, so because of that, let them go. You let them purchase, let the transaction go through. What are they going to use to track that you are sinning? And what sin is this? Is this any sin? Are there different levels to this sin? Because sin is, we're saying sin as like a general term, right? But what exactly does that entail? You got to get specific, because as more information comes out, we're not going just sit back and look at it and say, oh yeah, I guess it does make no. We're gonna call it out and just call it as it is, right? But like I said, man, when I saw this, the thought came into my head, and I was like, this sounds like a step in the direction of weaving in eventually the actual C-hip, without directly going in the path of saying, well, it looks like what I said was wrong, and this is actually what it is. Because eventually you're going to need to admit that the C-hip plays a role in this, right? And I mean, I speak as a man, but I think that eventually they will, but I don't think they're going to do it in the sense of openly saying, oh, we were wrong and this is actually what it is. I think that like the elder apostle Ahrayamlab said, they're going to try to weave it in as if they've been saying that the whole time. And to me, this video seems like, at least from what was played in here, like a step in that direction. Because as it gets more and more fine-tuned, what is the CBDC eventually going to be attached to? The C-hip. So if they're going to use finances, and the main avenue where they're going to have the FedNow system and all of that, but like today, right, you have credit card, credit, and debit and all of these things, but you need some actual wallet, some actual device, which is the actual card, the credit card or the debit card. In order that is like your key into the credit world. In order to deal, right, you need, and it's tied to your name, you know, your ID, and so on and so forth. So credit cards play a big role in the credit system. That's how people use the system. So when they set up this CBDC system, eventually they're gonna have this very you know, this very ingratiated wallet or integration system for people to be able to make these transactions. If money comes to you or money leaves you, what does it leave? Like, where does it leave you from, and where does it come into? What account is that? You know, and eventually that's going to be that micro CHIP. So what they're going to do is, if you want to make any form of transactions, the only path into that world is through that word you see right there on the screen, the MICROCHIP. And that is what they're going to use. That is the MOTB. But I find it very interesting how they worded this, how they're slipping in these CBDCs, and how it's all going. So let's see. Like I said, this is just an observation that I saw, you know, and this is the first thought that came to my mind as I was watching this. And I was thinking, that's very interesting. So let's keep listening. I'm gonna rewind it just a little bit more, and then let's listen a bit more. But I've linked this video in the description box, and I recommend just watching the whole thing. You know, maybe watch it from the beginning to the end would you know, it will make more sense to you. But
to bring that here. So back in Revelation 13 and 17, because the question, how could they try to force the saints to sin? Through finances. Those that are weak and give up. Read verse 17 again.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark.
You had to be involved in their sin. If they see brothers teaching on the street, find them. Go into their bank account, take money out. Boop, boop, boop. That's what they do. Now you have no food. They try to bend us to make us do what they want. That's what the Bible's prophesying about, right?
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark.
Except he, go ahead.
That had the mark.
That had the mark, which is sin, whether politically or religiously.
Or the name of the beast.
Still saying the same thing, sin in America, go ahead.
Or the number of his name.
Read.
Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast.
Count the number of America, this white man here, go ahead.
For it is the number of a man.
It's telling you the number of the white man. That's what it means, the number of a man, go ahead.
And his number is 666.
So that number represents him, number of destruction. Everybody understand that? All right. From there.
And guess what, man? You may be able to deceive men and cheat men, but you can't cheat God. You know, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai always gets the last laugh. So let's get this. This is the book of Revelation. Salakia, Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 33. It says, and when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, which is dealing with these prophecies. And one of the main ones right now is the MOTB. Then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. Okay, so Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is going to let it be known who his true prophets are. All right, and that starts with the you know, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down. Okay, concerning the MOTB, the breakdown for that hasn't changed. Okay, it's been the same from the jump all the way up until now, and people know it. And because it's been that, we believe that is the correct breakdown of Revelation 13. We can answer whatever questions come up about it. You know, we don't need to avoid verses and you know, try to, you know, piece together parts of the scriptures that don't really go together. If somebody asks us a question about the MOTB, we will be glad to go into it and explain it to you and give you, not just, you know, we'll break it down to you. We'll go into the words, we'll explain how it fits in, and then explain to you how that the MOTB, the CHIP in real life fulfills this prophecy. We will gladly do that. You know, we don't shy away from breaking down the Revelation 13, because we believe that the actual MOTB is the CHIP. But guess what? Very soon the Lord is going to have it to where people will look, as this thing gets closer, people will have more specific questions. You saw an example of that when they brought out the Vanessa during the Pandemic, and people were asked, "Oh, what do I do? Do I take it? Do I not?" Now they're saying that if you know, if I don't take it, I'm gonna lose my job. What do I take it? Do I not? People are gonna ask those questions, and they're gonna want specific answers. They're not gonna want things that sound shaky. They're gonna want you to explain in detail. How do you know that what you're saying is true? How do I know that if I go ahead and take it, everything is good? Because then they might ask you specifically, do I take the C hip? Right? Because you may say, oh, that the MOTB is not the C hip. Okay, but they still gonna ask, okay, well, there's this new thing that's out, and it's the C hip, and they're requiring me to take it. Do I take it or not? Those questions will come up, and they're gonna ask you. And at that point, what are you gonna say? Oh, it's not the MOTB, so go ahead and take it. Then they're gonna ask you, well, when you Slacky, I realized I wasn't sharing my screen on the scripture, but it's okay. You know, you can still hear it. They're gonna say, well, you have other Israelites like the men at Great Millstone saying that the MOTB is the C hip, is the charagma, is the MOTB. Don't take it. So what how who do I listen to? Oh, no, they're just bums, you know, and so on and so forth. You can take it. Okay, but you'll see, and the Lord is gonna let it be known. All right, let's go real quick to let me see. Actually, I can share this. This is very handy. Let me take a look, see if this actually worked. Slovakia. Yep, I think this should have. Yeah, there we go. All right, this is 2nd Ezra 16 and 73. So apparently I was able to find out how to fix the audio. You know, when you share your screen, you know, you have to actually when you share screen, you have to share the actual tab, the Chrome tab, and then have there's a little checkbox that talks about audio. Let me see if maybe I can show it. You know, for brothers that are also that try to share their screen and maybe the audio doesn't work on StreamYard, if you hit, let me see, share screen. You would hit share screen or present, whatever button you see there, and then you would hit the Chrome tab, right? It's gonna ask you choose what to share. You hit the Chrome tab, make sure the bottom, on the bottom side, it'll say share tab audio. You want to make sure that's checked to on, and you select which tab you want to share. So right now I am on this specific one, which should pop up 2nd Ezra 16 and 73. This is very handy, but I think this was probably one of their updates, you know, that they did. So, all right, good stuff. So back 2nd Ezra 16 and 73, it says, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Look, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai always lets it be known who he's dealing with, who are his true men, right? You had this guy, Simon, I think it was Bar Jesus. I forget exactly, but I think that was him that bewitched the people with sorceries. But guess what? When he witnessed the power, the true power from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, he realized that look, and others also realized that wow, this is the actual power, you know, by the apostles that the Lord set up. So it was made apparent to where even Simon himself, okay, listened and learned, and then try to offer money for that power. So you can't fake the spirit. Okay, the spirit is given by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and he will let it be known. So I'm gonna read this again, 2nd Ezra 16 and 73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Okay, and lastly, this is the book of Mark 16 and 20, because you know eventually you have he say, she say, right? Oh, your word against his word, and so on and so forth. But who's going to be the ultimate judge? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is. You know, so we're concerned with the truth. At the end of the day, we're warning you. It's not about like proving a point per se. You know, it's not about us. Oh, well, we're trying to prove this point. The real point is that we need to give out the correct warning. Okay, because the overall goal is the message is don't take the MOTB, which is the C hip. Don't take it. Don't take the charagma. Okay, that is the ultimate warning that we're here to give. So the more people that take heed to that, which ultimately is really only going to be the elect, the better it's going to be for them. All right, and it's going to be for us for sending out the correct warning, which is why we speak out against, you know, others who don't give out the correct warning. It's not because you get up one day, oh, I feel like just getting on X, Y, and Z, or I just feel like saying this. No, but a part of our job is in order to correctly teach the scriptures, a part of that is identifying parts of the scriptures that are being taught incorrectly and letting it be known that, hey, that is incorrect. That is not actually true. Don't listen to that. This is the truth. Because that way you wash your hands. That way you're clean. Whoever, at that point, you have given the notice that, hey, I warned you. That's the warning, right? I warned you that, hey, that's not true. This is the truth. And you decided to still go ahead and listen to that anyway. So now your actions are upon your, your blood is upon your head, not on our hands. Because not only did we tell you what the truth was, we warned you about what the truth wasn't. We warned you about what the lies were. So for those that still want to take heed, it's all, giggles and fun and games until somebody gets put down, right? Until Yahweh Shem Yahushai brings some great judgment. Then everybody's silent. Now there's a solemn spirit out here. Now people are in fear. Now we want to act like everything, oh, I never said this, or I never did this, or it was actually X, Y, and Z. Like the Lord hasn't been watching the whole time. So this is a very fearful thing, man. Overall, you may crack a joke here and there, but the core of this is a very serious thing. All right, we're dealing with Yahweh, okay? Bahasham Yahushai. That we're dealing with the highest power there is, who has given us the word and said, hey, I'm giving you a charge. You know what a charge is? A charge is not optional. A charge is a command to go and teach my word. So, we speak about being chosen in a good sense, because Lord willing, if we're of that chosen, there's a lot of benefit that comes with it. But you also have to keep in mind that if you are called, it's not time for you to say, oh, I feel like this, or I want to respond or not. You don't have an option. When you're called, you're summoned. Okay, like today, they summon you for jury duty. You're going to take your ass over there if you got to go, right? When the Lord calls you, he summons you. You don't get to decide. You don't get a decision in the matter. And when he says, I've called you, I've chosen you, I don't give a damn what you're doing. You better drop that. All right, and go and teach my word. That's what you're going to do. All right, that's what you're going to do. So that's why we have to take it very seriously above anything else, because our actual lives are on the line. Never forget that. And never forget who you're dealing with. The Lord, death and blood is not, the Lord is not squeamish to blood. Everybody that dies is orchestrated by the Heavenly Father. And he's not a respecter of persons. And he's long-suffering. So when he gives you an order, when he gives you a charge, and he says, go and do X, Y, and Z, you better make sure you do X, Y, and Z. Don't add no X, Y, Z plus, or do only X, Y. Do exactly what the Lord told you to do. And Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, tells us what the Lord told us to do, to eat this roll and to go and teach the house of Israel. And that's what we're doing. And the scriptures also talk about, marking those that are teaching contrary. So whatever the Lord commanded us to do, that's what we're going to do in fear, because we actually fear the Lord. This is the book of Mark 16:20. It says, and they went forth and preached everywhere, the Lord working with them, and what? Confirming the word with signs following among. Okay, so the Lord confirms the words with signs following. And guess what? At the end of the day, this is all still necessary. Okay, it's all still necessary. The Lord this is all happening deliberately, because there are certain people that the Lord doesn't want for them to believe that the actual CHIP is the MOTB, so that they can be deceived and they can go and take it, and then he can destroy them. The Lord actually set it up that way. Now, what avenue would the Lord use in order to actually set those people up? Well, that's what we're seeing now. That's why you have other individuals that are teaching something that is blatantly obvious that this is not what it is. And yet you still have people that believe them. Why? Because the Lord wants them to believe them. Okay, the Lord wants, guess what? Just as much as the Lord wants his elect not to take the CHIP, he wants those that are not of his elect, that he has appointed, to take the CHIP. See? So the Lord works on both sides. There are people that he actually wants to take the charagma, and there are people that the Lord does not want to take the charagma. So at the end of the day, it's necessary. The way that the Lord sets up people not to take the charagma is he sets up true teachers, true men that will warn you. And then he opens up those people's minds to take heed. And then on the other side of the spectrum, the way he gets people to take the charagma is he sets up false teachers. And then he puts it into the audience's mind to listen to those false teachers so they take the charagma. And on either side, whether right hand or left hand, the will of the Lord is fulfilled. All right. So that's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to say. And Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. But just keep your eyes out and keep your ears open too. And then let's just hear what I'm very interested to see, as well, when the actual C-hip itself, comes out, or even as we get closer, and we inch closer and closer to hear what's going to be the end point, okay, of the breakdown of the MOTB, because the C-hip is coming. It's here, actually. It's here. It's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of lacking infrastructure. No, it's just a matter of time. So let's see. Let's see. But either way, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is going to let it be known, as he always does. So with that, Lord willing, this was once again edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Racha Kodesh. And until next time, Shalom.